Alright, so we're just going to play with some things today. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. So these we've had for a bit. So first, we're going to talk about dice. So this one does not have dice, but it's got the Mario on it. We'll put a pin on that one. We have got, these are dice. They have different numbers of sides. So this one, I believe, is 12-sided. We count up to 12. This one is a 20-sided die. 20. That means that there is 1 through 20 sides, all numbered. I love the glittery jewel-like dice. And that's kind of how you roll them. They roll out of your hand and across the way. There's also a thing called a D6. D being that they're die or dice. And how many sides there are. These little dots are called pips. And this one is clearly a handmade one. Now, there are ways to test whether a die or dice are even, but most ones you'll get to the store are even. So that means that it's a roughly equal amount per side. So 12, 18. 18 wins. 2. But this one only goes up to 6. So 18 here has much more luck. So these are the numbered dice. Now what are these? These are Rory's story cubes from Game Right. Now, as far as I know, they were the first ones who really did it. And there's other brands now. I think these particular ones in this style are no longer sold, but you can still get things like this. So Rory's story cubes has 9 cubes with 54 images. And what you do, it's got a little magnet, is instructions. You can roll them, or if you're, short on space, you can roll them back in there and make a story. So let's see here, we've got, okay, so there was a sheep who needed to go somewhere, and he didn't have a map. So he started, let's see here, at a nearby house. He asked for some help. He raised his little hand. He said, "Help me." And there at the house, he met a wizard. And that wizard told him that if he drank from a fountain, he would be able to fly to a magic tree. And that would grant his wishes. And that's where he wanted to go. And the sheepy was happy. The end. Or, let's see here. We've got a justice, maybe, or a card, or letters, moon, and a bug. So it's really whatever you want to do with it. So this is the story cubes, right? Oops. Oh no, it's rolling away. But yeah, so they had a set of 9 with different little symbols, and you can combine them however you want. And the nice thing too is that, like, is this a mask? Is it an alien? Does that mean the alien showed up? So it's really good as far as for being creative and just kind of having a little bit of fun, working on words and language. This one's Story Cubes Actions. So it's the exact same idea, but it's a different set of dice. So we see somebody here, they're playing with dolls, they're kicking a ball, they're asking a question, they have a boo-boo, they're dancing. Just little funs like that. I like it because it's very open. It can be used as a game. It can be used as a toy as far as just playing by yourself, one or more. Or if you're trying to write stories, which you may be, it's good for that. So now going on to more dice. This is just a pack of D6s, which are cute and pretty. Well, maybe you don't think they're cute and pretty, but Kraken picked these one out. Kraken is fond of things like Venom, which are black and white and red. And it's a speckled space dice block. This is a really nice brand. They do sets like this. They have sets that are what you call like D&D or adventure sets, where it's a bunch of different numbered amounts. So that'd be good practice for numbers. And this is a special Settlers of Catan Yahtzee game. What Yahtzee is, if you haven't played it before, is you are trying to get a certain amount of something to get points. And Settlers of Catan, you are trying to get basically something to win. So you could do Island 2 here, or Island 1, where you're trying to get the most island, longest road, highest points. So it's got little game boards. And then you have your utility cards. Whoops. So we got wheat and brick and gold and sheep, which, so if I say, okay, so I get one little road if I have a brick and a wood. I don't have that. Okay, how about a rock and a sheep and a wheat? So let's just pretend I have a sheep. We're cheating. Okay, so we have a rock, a sheep, and a wheat. Right? But you just do, depending on the rules in here, you roll a certain number of times to get it. Normally you roll at least once to try it. Oh, here are the rules. The deluxe game rules. If I recall, the deluxe meant it came with the cup. But this is not necessarily for littles. Let's see here. What age is this for? Resource dice. Arrange the dice. And sorry about that. I would say this is more a 10 or up, just because there's a lot of patience involved and you have to kind of like work things out, and there's just like other sort of techniques that you're trying to do here. Rory Story Cube says 8+, but I mean, depending on how much you really care about it being properly played versus just kind of a fun idea, you can definitely do younger. I mean, just know your own audience. I really like the cup, because there's not much you can beat with that sound, huh? Now this, you may have played Apples to Apples before, but this is a version of Apples to Apples where you're using an alphabet here. Now obviously, if we're looking at a 20-sided die, which is what this is, it doesn't have all 26 letters. But it's got apple for you to choose whichever one you like. And I think it just didn't do some of the more common ones. But so we've got, if you're not familiar with apples, this is a game where, let's see here, do I have instructions? Nope. I have to remember how to play it. But yeah, you pick you might go with an idea that you then have to match. This one is something that goes with that letter. that maybe you might be able to use. So I could say my green apples, what you pick, right? And roll it, and it's an E. So I'm going to say E for eco-friendly. And then everybody has to submit a card for it. So let's see here. What do we have that's eco-friendly? Oh, green energy. And then let's see what this is the group somebody else has. Let's see here. What's green energy? I don't know. Walruses? They're eco-friendly. They're animals. Here we go. This gives you some suggestions. Ah, yes, you're supposed to go with an adjective to a noun. So eco-friendly still works. So we have adorable, brutal, cautious, disgusting, enchanting. This one is for kiddos who are old enough that their vocabulary is pretty advanced. And maybe they're kind of bored with apples to apples. Or alternatively, you guys want to play apples to apples and you want something a little bit more travel friendly. I have another one somewhere where it's actually wild cards all the way to die with chips. And I think there's other little die. I have to find it. I'll show it to you on another video. But I really like it. But it's a fun way to incorporate the dice. So we've got like a Yahtzee version of Catan. We've got story cubes. We've got apples to apples with dice. So there's a lot of ways to play with dice that aren't just traditional ones. The number values can be used, the faces can be used a lot of ways, which can be fun. And they're also just pretty. Now, I want to show you this, because this is really special. Now, this particular set I got from Nintendo's rewards. And Nintendo, if you didn't know, they got into the game industry quite a long time ago. And what they were doing originally is a card game. Oh my goodness, this is not going to come out. There we go. Sorry, that was not very gentle. They did a card game. So there's a traditional Japanese card game, and this is a version of it. So it's the Mario koikoi, and it's got instructions here. Obviously these are in Japanese, right? But they don't only have it in Japanese, so I don't think they do. They also show you here's the pattern. So what your goal is you're trying to match it. So you can use it like a game of solitaire. And there's seasons and flowers. I like the ones with the boo. But I'm not going to play it because first I'm not super familiar with how to play it. But also I just want to show you the cards. So as you can see, these flowers, right, they match. And we've got these beautiful flowers. Oh, we got poor scared Luigi. We got Donkey Kong here. There's different ways to match, but as I said, it's basically like a Japanese solitaire if you play it alone for matching. But there's a couple of different ways they can combine, because, for example, these are seasonal messages. And one of the things I really like about this set individually is it's very, it's got a good solid feel to it. Pretty well made. But, as I said, it's a classic game. And this not this specifically, but things just like this are what Nintendo originally did. They did card games like this, as far as this style of traditional card games. And that is how Nintendo got their start. You see, these are fun. I don't know if you can get this anymore, but I was super excited when I saw this. I knew I had to get it. I don't remember if I used my Mario points for it or if I got it from a reseller. But it says, like, what is koikoi? Let me get that. But yeah. So there's also a way for you to play as a pair. So you set it up with 8 cards, 8 cards, 8 cards, and then there's the stack. And you're competing against the other person. Like I said, you can play it by yourself too. Like, just like we would play solitaire with one of our sets of cards. It's an option. Let me see if I can't fold that up nicely again. But that's what I wanted to show you, is that Nintendo had this beautiful set they made because they made card games like this before they made video games. Alright, well, if you're still watching, thank you so much. Maybe think about giving a like or subscribe if this content suited you. Gives me an idea of what I should do more of. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening, and you have a wonderful day.